Well, welcome to the journey. It is your boy Journeyman Bell, aka Mr. 100, coming to you on this week's devotion as we are dealing with forgiveness starts with me. Y'all, please forgive me. I'm working a little over today because I'm trying to get all these teachings in on this week that I really desire to get in because I want people to realize that forgiveness for yourself is very important. Forgiveness for yourself is extremely important to what it is you're trying to accomplish. And a lot of things where we can't move forward in is because of self-forgiveness. And when I talk about self-forgiveness, I'm not saying in the elements of regret. Because a lot of times we tag that level of forgiveness to self-forgiveness to regret places of things that we wish we could have did differently. But this type is really dealing with the areas of the animosity that we hold and the things that trigger us and the things that people keep doing to us that makes it hard for us to self-forgive. And when those self-forgive places come in, we have to realize, as I've taught before, is that you have to be accountable for your pains. You have to be accountable. You can't handle or deal with what they done to you, but you can deal with how what's been done to you will leave you. And that right there starts with your forgiveness. So when you start to deal with self-forgiveness, there are so many things that take place. In the book of Matthew, it says that 6:12, it says that we should forgive our debtors as we have been forgiven for our debts. And so when you start to deal with these pains of unforgiveness and things like, oh, well, I'm having a hard time letting it go, and I'm having a hard time not replaying and rehearsing the same things that create the same pains in our lives, y'all. I want to just encourage you in this, is that when we start to walk down this path of forgiveness, what we have to do is be aware of is the processing places of it. There's a path, there's a process, there's productivity, and there is a procedure which leads to the promise that we have to walk down with this thing. And what the area I want to talk about on today, or part of it at least, is I want to talk about the area in the mind. The mind, M-I-N-D, of our forgiveness is really important because of what it is that we have to channel in and get past. Because if I can be honest, a lot of times the hardest part of our forgiveness places, even with ourselves, it starts with the mind. Because why? The mind wants to replay the tragic moments that occurred in our lives. I'm guilty of it, and I'm sure many of you are as well when we start to deal with these mind places. So I want to really try and tackle in on these areas of the mind, because if we can get it off of our mind, we can probably develop a better sense of self. But we got to start somewhere. And I'm hoping that these notes and things will help you in this journey on today as we go through the MIND of mind. I'm going to try and do it all in 15 minutes, but it's a lot of information here. So I'm just going to push against the clock. Okay. So when I start to deal with the mind, I'm always reminded of Romans 12:1. It says, be not conformed to the world, but be what? Ye transformed what? By the renewing of your mind. Listen, the world, and when the Bible says be not conformed to the world, it's not just saying a worldly system, but how we have functioned in the operation of which the world we've been a part of. So basically, if I'm used to doing something that I've always done in the world since, then I'm going and now try and bring that into Christ. It's not going to work. If I've been mad before at someone and then my retaliations is to punch, and then I come into Christ, I'm still operating in my world system, because Christ does not do what we learned and trained ourselves to do of the world. The world's ways is a human cultivation or a culture or custom that we developed in our journey. So if we've been hurt, what do you do? What have you done in the past with your hurt, when somebody hurts you and you have a problem with forgiving them, or you have a problem with forgiving yourself? What have you done before you came into Christ? And if you're still doing that same thing that you were doing before you came into Christ, then there is an element that needs to be transformed in you so that you don't no longer operate the way you used to operate. And I know that it's easier said than done, Belle, because when I get upset and when I want to try and forgive myself and I want to try and do these things this other way, I run into stumbling blocks. So we got to realize that this renewing of the mind through Christ is a continual effort of incorporation. So when we start to look at this place of transforming, renewing our mind, we have to first watch this. Remember this in the mind. The M is to what? Monitor our thoughts. Watch this. Pay attention to reoccurring thoughts that are tied to hurt and resentment. Pay attention to reoccurring thoughts that are tied to hurt and resentment. See, and this is why our practice is so important. Well, how do I offset these thoughts that keep coming back to me? The first thing you want to do is you want to start talking, baby. Start talking against those thoughts. Now, it's going to take some practice because you have to realize that those thoughts will take you down a rabbit hole. Alice, it'll take you down a deep rabbit hole of anxieties and confusions and acrimonies. Come on here. It'll take you through places of indignation because you'll be upset about some things. Start getting upset about how they treated you. You start getting upset about how you handled it. You get upset with what you should have said and what you probably regret saying. And all these emotions, they cloud up in you real quick. Shata. Glory. And before you know it, you don't thought what you said. And if you sit there and dwell on it long enough on how a person treated you, on how a person handled you, on how a person walked this place with you, how you invited them or people. Let me not just single out one person, because sometimes it's people. Sometimes it's the church. Sometimes it's a spouse. Sometimes it's your kids, it's your parents, or whatever. But whatever it is that you found, that you invited in, that intentionally harmed you, that betrayed you, that mishandled you, and then now you're trying to walk through this forgiveness place, not just with them, but with yourself. These places of feeling sorry for yourself keep playing back up in your head, and you want to have the pity party. But guess what? Having a pity party, nobody comes to it, okay? Everybody just looks at you at your own pity party. So you have got to come to a responsible place as an adult and say, I'm going to become mature about this. I am going to start handling this the way I need to handle it so I can have a better life. I want a better life for myself. So it starts to watch this, monitoring your thoughts. Paying attention to reoccurring thoughts that are tied to hurt and resentment. How do we do that? Watch this. When the mind will drift if it has no place to go. The mind will drift if it doesn't have no place to go, which means that you have to give your thoughts directions. I'm not talking about thoughts with thoughts. You don't defeat thoughts with thoughts, okay? You don't outthink your thoughts into a positive place. You outthink your thoughts with positive affirmations, audible words that will channel your thoughts in the right direction. Because listen, our mind is wild. Our mind will go to the extreme. The places of self-forgiveness got to start with you. Nope. Thoughts come. Nope. Not hearing that. I know it's crazy to say it out loud, but listen, if you say it out loud, you'll hear it. And you need to hear that your mind is no longer going there. But we get so comfortable and we get so vulnerable to our thoughts that we just entertain them. And we feel like we can't say anything. But as soon as we get mad enough, We find ourselves talking out loud about what we're angry about, how they treated us. And so listen, let's be productive, okay? Let's say I'm gonna be productive with my self-forgiveness place, because I'm trying to get healed. I want to be better, okay? Being better starts with acknowledgement of, yes, I'm hurting, but I'm no longer hurting because I'm no longer in this hurt place, because I'm moving forward. Addressing your thoughts. Yes, that hurt me, but yes, I'm moving forward. Yes, I'm tired of this, and I'm tired of repeating myself, but I'm going to keep repeating till my mind gets this thing, okay? Because the mind will find itself drifting. And watch this. Here's a little side note, is that the mind will start drifting quietly when it's unavailable for something else to think about. You'll find yourself sitting at home and aloneness will come over you. And then all of a sudden, it's up to you to start being responsible. Say it to yourself, I have to be responsible for my thoughts. Watch this. The mind will drift if it has no place to go. You've got to give your mind direction. Oh, come on back here, thoughts. Yes, that they hurt me a year ago. Yes, I'm still upset about how they hurt me. But listen, I'm healed because I got more to do, and I got better things to occupy my mind with than to rehearse what I can't change. To rehearse my hurt is like stabbing yourself again from a wound that's been trying to heal itself. Your self-inflicting wounds are killing you. You're killing yourself by entertaining the continual in your life that you can't go back to. Ain't gonna do no good. Let's go. Let's go forward. Oh, believe me, I know how that feels. Because I want to sit there and sip on my coffee of regrets, and sip on my coffee of pain, and sip on my coffee of why did this have to happen to me? But there's no room for that when life has so much more waiting for us. How do we know how much more our life is ready for? God is ready for in our mind. He's ready to speak to us in our mind and speak to us in our heart if we keep rehearsing the pain of what keeps hurting us. And some of you may even say, but I'm stuck in the place of hurt. Like, I'm stuck with the situation. How do I do that? Listen, there's still room for healing, even if you're still in the situation. I know there's a slower process. Believe me, I know. It's a slower process when you're still in the midst of the situation. But at the same time, you can still work on you. A little bit at a time. Medicate the best you can. And medication starts with affirmation. Whew, Jesus. Medication starts with affirmation. See, that's why I said I'm probably going to come back and do another part to this, because this is just way too much. It's too much information in to carry out in just one session like this. Watch this. Let me go on. You have to give your thoughts an assigned destination. I just got you talking about that. Watch this. Satan sifts through small investments. Catch this. Satan sifts through small investment. That means he plant a seed here, he plant a seed here, he plant a seed here, he plant a seed here. Slowly. He don't do it all at once. See, that's where we miss Satan, is that he continues to plant seeds in our idle places of thinking. What we always say, the idle mind is a devil's workshop. That's a saying, but in essence, if our mind is available, Satan will make an investment in it. He will begin to sift us, and this is how we lose interest in ourselves. This is how depression comes. This is how we start feeling self-pity. This is how we start going in the negative direction of our thinking, and all of a sudden we find ourselves in a depressed place. When you find yourself in a place of, why can't I get unstuck? This cycle keeps happening in my life. The cycle keeps happening because you keep moving in the direction of where Satan is taking your thoughts. And if you feel negative thoughts coming over you, if you have negative feelings, come on, because sometimes we can't find it in a thought. Sometimes it's just in our feelings. Why am I so low? let's start acknowledging medication brings affirmation. Medication brings affirmation. So let's start affirming ourselves. Let's start making sense of our emotions instead of just feeling sorry for our emotions. I have no reason to feel this way. God has given too much to me. Come on, speak to your life. I have no reason to feel this way. Why am I feeling this way? I choose to feel better than this. If you decide not to speak against it, then you're wanting to be miserable. And that's okay if you want to be miserable. But if you can't be better being miserable. You have to make a decision that I'm going to choose affirmation for my medication. I love that God. Watch this. He sifts us through small investments. Watch this. You have to observe emotional triggers that cause memories to resurface. If we don't understand triggers, I'm going to talk about triggers on this week too, because I got a lot to talk about. We're going to talk about triggers on this week, how they affect us, what they do to us, how to respond to these things. Because if you don't know what sets you off, you're going to keep going off. You got to know what's setting you off. Watch this. When you start paying attention to the things, the words, triggers, words, phrases, become observant of things that cause you to rise up. If somebody says something and they may not even mean it the way that you think it, but if it brings a negative connotation to you, you got to check it. Because one thing about me I've learned and I've observed is that I don't like criticism. I'm learning it. I'm learning how to embrace it without retaliation. I'm learning how. See, I'm being honest with myself right now. Understanding what sets me off will make me a better person so that I can start rehearsing and practicing more self-control, because I want to be able to allow people to share their opinions and share their views without me getting upset when it's a personal attack at me. Yeah, that's some training, but it's because I'm still hurt. But that's all it does. When people may attack you and you attack back, they're showing where your sensitive areas of forgiveness are still working and you still have emotional triggers. Watch this. Practice awareness. Acknowledging thoughts without feeding into it. Yeah, that hurt me. Okay, let's address it. Medication is affirmation. Affirmation is medication. Let's address this thing. Let's address it. Yeah, let's medicate this. Yeah, that hurt me. Oh, I hate that you said that. You may not have meant it that way, but that's how I took it. And the more you get into tunnel vision with when somebody says something, the more it shows just how deep that pain really is in your life. And like I said, it could have been an honest, innocent statement, but because it was addressed at you, you didn't want to receive the correction of it. Somebody that really loves you says something and it hurts your feelings, but you know they love you, but you took it the wrong way. That's an emotional trigger. Let's address this thing, okay? I didn't like it, but you know what? I'm going to take this and I'm going to learn from it. I'm saying this out loud because I want to be better. I want to be able to allow people to be critical of me without me retaliating. I don't need retaliation in my life. What you allow to stay will shape your reality. See, I told you I'm not even going to get finished with this today. I'm going to have to really do a full teaching on this. What you allow to stay will shape your reality. Realize that everything that stays in your that hinders your self-forgiveness will be a part of your new reality of life. And it may be delusional because of what you're allowing it to be. allowing it to stay, allowing it to become in your life. And as long as you allow it to stay, as long as you allow it to be, if it stays and it bees, it will become, okay? It will transform. It will become your reality. So no matter how much you want to try and self-forgive, no matter how much you want to try and self-medicate, if you allow the pain to stay, it will shape and make you what it is. I talked about being accountable to your pain. Your pain of not forgiving yourself will begin to shape your new reality in forgiveness, in what you won't forgive. Come on, let's be better. I'm gonna come on back to. I gotta finish this thing, so I'm gonna implement the rest of this on the rest of this week. Okay, I'm gonna finish the mind. I got to deal with hurt. I'm gonna be on this, and I'm gonna deal with the triggers, and I want to deal with the release. All this week. So y'all stay tuned on the journey where we believe in taking life one step at a time. We'll talk to you real soon.